flexible like Steve's, however. Here is Chris, with a spinal curvature similar to Steve's, but Chris's curve is not flexible. When I try to correct his spine, I push him over. I cannot correct the position of his spine because it is a fixed deformity. A fixed deformity like Chris's needs to be accommodated. A seating system which accommodates to a fixed deformity matches the curves to provide even pressure distribution and attempts to slow the progression of the deformity. Unlike a seating system for a user with a flexible deformity, a seating system which is accommodative will not attempt to apply very strong corrective forces. For Chris, the accommodative solution could not interfere with his independent living arrangements, transfer skills, and his high-level mobility skills. Mounting the support to Chris's body rather than to his chair allowed him to maintain his active lifestyle despite a painful, fixed spinal deformity. Some of the outcomes of a mat eval are to determine the presence or absence of a deformity, whether that deformity is fixed or flexible, and a determination of whether we want the intervention to provide correction or accommodation. We have looked at only a small part of a full assessment. For an individual like Steve with a spinal cord injury, a full evaluation would involve many other tests, including sensation testing, skin inspection, transfer technique, mobility skills, and pressure relief method, just to name a few. By collecting all of this information, we have gotten to know more specifically what Steve needs. We now need to meet with a supplier, however, to find out the product options available to meet these needs. Some of the commercial options that we hope to put into your chair to achieve some of your goals. I've had Steve down on the mat and have done a physical evaluation as well as doing some of the anatomical measurements. Okay. And the critical elements are, Steve came, he had a right pressure sore on his IT. And because he lives alone, he wasn't able to be off of it completely. And so it didn't heal. So he had plastic surgery to heal the wound. He's healed. He's back up. And he would really like to incorporate some support into his chair so that we don't cause this all over again. Okay. The critical element that I found in talking to Steve and watching him is, Steve, can you do a pressure relief for me? That he is so flexible here, but if I put my hand underneath, he's really not relieving the pressure underneath his buttocks. And then come back down. And what I found when he was on the mat is I can get some correction, and if I hold him, now do a lift up, he starts off so much more corrected and come back down that I can get some clearance underneath him. Okay. So we're looking for a cushion for some pressure distribution. We're looking for postural support of a flexible scoliosis. But what I did find on the mat is if I just held his trunk, the pelvis didn't quite straighten out. So I think I need to accommodate a little bit for fixed pelvic deformity and then give him some support up above.
Okay. Let me start by just grabbing some information from you. It makes it easier, and then I can put a whole package with Gene together.
Let's see if I give him... I need to lift this side up? Is that okay.
Yeah.
If I give him some support there, now lift your arms up, Steve, then I don't have to work quite so hard in the trunk.
Then I think the course that I mentioned before was maybe something commercial that can accommodate in a cushion for the obliquity in his hip, maybe a good starting point.
Okay.
And then maybe look at something to stabilize his trunk.
Okay.
And I think linear would probably work well.
Okay. Let's give it a try then. I was concerned. I want to be sure that he can still transfer independently. So maybe we could try something
low and on that side to keep the hip from sliding over.
Wow. Still losing you.
Yeah, it's, actually, this is a little too far over.
Okay, do one more lift up. And I'm going to actually move this in a little bit. Okay, now come down. Okay, now. Okay, working to,
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, substantially
It's
better.
easier.
Yeah, you're able to hold your hands out.
okay.
You feel like you could push the chair yourself without having to stabilize?
Oh, I don't have a problem doing that. When I mean, that
Can you just give it a little push
that
for us?
curve, that fall to the left doesn't bother me at all.
And roll back this way. I know there are several cushions we can use to distribute the pressure evenly. Should we customize the back support? Do you know of a commercial option that could give me those kind of 2 points of contact that would create it here?
Everson Jennings would make a side cushion so that there's something is
Okay.
commercially available, and you could have something like this fabricated from some commercial companies that mount a little bit differently instead of onto a solid back that would swing away. There aren't that many commercial companies that fabricate stuff like this. You can get something what we consider commercially available through a customized shop, and that's pretty easy.
So you could, for Steve and I, price out a couple of options and then come back to us with commercial options that we could then decide either A, to try, or B, see what we can get for the money.
Yes.
The suggested supports may improve pressure distribution and correct Steve's deformity, but it will only be a solution for him if it allows him to function independently. A critical function for Steve is independent car transfers. Only because Steve can transfer can we feel confident that the options offered really can be solutions. Only when the assessment and effective communication among all team players results in a client's successful return to mainstream can we all say the system is working for all of us.